You're thinking, does this stuff go to YouTube or no?
Hold on. Getting ready.
Probably.
Anything else does?
Someone has to watch it though. No one's ever on it. I wonder if he was monitoring that. Okay.
All right, everything's on.
Five?
Yep.
Good. Okay, I'm gonna call to order the Port of Allen Public Water System Advisory Committee regular meeting for June 3rd, 2026 at 5 p.m. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Okay, Jeff Carey.
Scott Gordon.
Jim Freeman.
Okay, you have an agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
One thing here on item 10, is that supposed to be July 1st?
Yes.
You have the wrong, printed off the wrong,
Well, you have June one, I have a July.
I've got a June 3rd. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
I have a July 3rd and a June 3rd.
Yeah, but it's oh, what's that?
see which one you have, because I have
May- I have May
a May 6th agenda.
Oh,
You have a May 6th agenda.
Okay, May 5th here. Yeah, June.
You've got a June 3rd agenda.
okay.
Anybody else got a wrong agenda?
May 6th, June 3rd.
Oh, you know, that's for the next meeting.
That's what I talked about, but yeah, I see that. Is there one on the window there and grab? Is it that important?
You need me to read it since everybody else doesn't have it? Or what? The only thing I see on it is that on the June 3rd, for the meeting from June 3rd, item number 10, where it talks about the next meeting, it says July 3rd. Isn't that supposed to be July 1st? On the Wednesday? I don't have a calendar in front of me, but
She just printed off the wrong set of minutes. That's the agenda from last month.
either, okay.
That's entirely last month's agenda.
Oh, okay, so
There's one copy you have there of the actual agenda. I'm just gonna print off new copies.
okay, so you want me to hold or
1 second here.
pass it to everybody to look? But,
Yeah, let's just hold.
okay. We are holding till we get the current agenda for tonight's meeting.
Or are we pausing?
I'm sure it plays willing tight.
That's just fun.
Okay, I guess. We're suspending for the meeting for a moment while we get to take work and then we'll reconvene. The thing is still recording, so. I should say the recorder is recording, not the thing.
Rid of the bad ones.
Okay.
It's no good. This one is the correct one. There was only one copy of the correct,
Right, and that's,
and you had it.
yeah, because I was
Yep.
printing it from.
Hand me that bad one. Yep.
Okay, reconvening the meeting. To adopt the agenda. Still the one question I have is number 10. On this the correct agenda. Is it supposed to be July 1st? Isn't that a Wednesday?
I believe July 1st, or June 3rd.
No, I'm saying
Oh,
for the next meeting.
for the next meeting, let me have the other one that's,
July 1st. Right.
yeah. Should be July 1st.
Okay,
We'll do that next one.
I'll entertain a motion with the correction. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, next. Approval of the minutes. I have a couple of questions. Two minor things and one question. On page 1, where it starts off approval of minutes and says March 4th and da 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 da. In the first sentence there, it says with shipping dates removed from page 3. When I looked at the March agenda and added the word straps, I didn't see anything on page 2 or page 3, but I did see that reference on page 2 of 3 in the March agenda, March minutes. No problem. Just a sec here. How would you like us to handle that then? You want us to table the minutes to the next meeting?
So, you can go back to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make this one. There you go.
So the issue is,
We're big-
yes, for the line with shipping dates to be removed from page 3. And adding straps, so.
I see what added straps to page
Straps,
2.
Okay,
I didn't
didn't see the shipping dates removed from page 3.
I didn't see any dates there at all, so I don't know.
That was because they were to be removed from
Okay.
page 3. And then add straps to where the straps are supposed to be added.
Yeah, which was page 2, so
So that is
Okay.
correct.
fine. I'm good, okay, be good. The only other two minor things, really minor. On old business, under item A, third line down where it says C 9,000, it's supposed to be C 900.
Yeah, I had to correct a bunch of those, it looks like from this one.
Okay, and last but not least, under new business. Second from the last line where it says an easement in an alley. An easement
Yeah,
that is in an alley. I guess I could see, I guess it'll go either way.
okay,
I'll leave it at that.
so we'll correct that and I'll have a corrected version for you to sign or something.
Well, but for now, we can adopt it.
Yeah, go ahead and adopt it and I'll bring it, I'll have the copy for you to sign later.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 1st minutes.
I'll second that. Was the what the corrections? With the corrections, right, Scott?
Yeah, with the corrections.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's. Okay. Item 6. Reports and announcements. Report staff.
Why don't we go to yeah, go ahead, switch that around to committee members until I get this.
Okay, we'll go. Any committee members have anything for reports? I am
Nothing.
trying to attend your Mason Water meetings every
Yes,
the second Tuesday.
do you feel like you're getting any benefit out of them?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, good.
yes. And it just helps give me a little more background from a different angle, just, you know,
Right.
because to me, I was kind of independent little small guy to do that. And now I see, you know, you hear some of the opportunities that other water systems are having and some of the problems and fine. And the fact also like, you know, at least felt like I contributed a little bit, you know, with regards to like when it comes to the counties.
Yeah,
Side, you know, from the planning advisory commission, which I serve on, so that gave everybody a different, you know, another angle to think about. I
yeah,
could tell.
and I was gonna ask you to be a speaker for July.
Super. Well, you'll have to, you know, clue me in more when I'm gonna speak about, but anyway, as far as attending it on the second Tuesday, I'm gonna keep trying to do that, and I'm probably not gonna become a full-fledged member, but I'm gonna at least attend the
Yeah,
meetings, and
thank you.
so. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to old business.
We can go back to.
Oh, you want,
Reports.
it's literally the staff report will come into the old business and flow into the old business. But go
Well,
ahead.
I'll try to keep some of the old business out of it.
Okay, good man.
Looking at it, trying to think of all the things that won't fit in the old business.
Good luck.
The majority of the consolidation happenings, so it was all gonna end up in old business, but and we do have that new business, so I will just defer the port staff announcements report until old business and new business.
There, because I know it will flow, so. Okay. Moving on to old business, the water system plan water system plan update planning.
So
That was 7A.
some of that will actually kind of curve over to the RFQ, but I will.
Yeah.
We can leave the RFQ just as it is to discuss the documents that were presented.
Okay.
As for water system planning, definitely feeling the need to move on getting an RFQ out as soon as possible. There is a couple of drafts for on-call and for the comprehensive plan requests for qualifications to find a consultant later in the new business, but the water system plan update planning needs to find a firm that understands that we have a lot of things done. We have a lot of things that we can do in the next few months. So that we are only pursuing the necessary pieces to get this submitted to DOH so that they have time to review the engineering before our deadline. With the policy and the developer's contracts already complete. And we've got a pretty decent handle on language and the actual spec drawings, which we've already discussed. Not so much the language, but the spec drawings. Those are ready to just submit those changes that should be recommended before they go for the commission for approval. So I feel like the specs are practically done, other than a few hours of engineering work. You make changes to those PDFs.
So does specs include things like, you know, discussed in the past that one keep, in addition to whatever requirements the state has?
Right.
In addition to that, like the area to address.
They're the
the map-
detail, yeah, they're the details in drawings that the port requires to have at the end of the system.
Okay, but I mean, do those address the MDD and peak hour demand, you know, maximum daily demand and peak hour?
No, well, those are just the specifications for construction.
Okay,
Yeah. So peak hour demand and maximum daily demand, those are gonna have to be worked by whatever engineering firm is selected to do the water comprehensive plan. And all of the modeling and documents to date that have been done in the last few years since we've been reworking the numbers on the water system, are now in the port's possession to be able to supply those
Okay.
to whatever engineering firm is selected by the port.
So, this kind of flows into, the, RFQ,
Does.
but. Make sure that, when this goes out, that the firms have access to both the port's plan and my old plan to get them up to speed, so they know what they're dealing with, because, we've seen some shortcomings in the past of people.
The intent with the comprehensive plan is to provide all of that documentation so that they can make the decision whether they're interested or not.
Okay,
I've seen all of the information that we already have to date, because we do need to put a timeline on them to get this finished.
Right,
We can't just say, okay, we're gonna get started and it's gonna get finished when you get finished. You need to be able to tell us whether
they can,
you feel confident to be able to finish by a certain date so that we can get submitted, because we need at least 3 months in review
right,
to be able to come back with comments and get it passed through DOH before our April deadline.
and that includes getting it passed by the board.
Well, no, just includes getting it passed by DOH.
No, but I mean, doesn't the board need to also approve this before we release it, or at least
I
that's,
mean, yeah. I can look into that, but I
Yeah.
don't believe so.
okay, all I ask is look at it and
Yeah.
just making sure we have our legal requirements, done.
What I've always done was just present it after DOH, and
Okay.
we went through the steps, we
Right.
just presented it. After
After.
DOH has done it, and here's our comprehensive plan for the year. Or the next 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not married to one method or the other, just wanna make sure that,
That's been-
we've done our i's, crossed our t's type thing.
Yeah.
Yes, and with the RFQ side, the only thing,
So the one thing the commission would have to approve is the selection of, once you go out, they would have to approve the actual selection of
sure,
the consultant, because
right,
you're looking at a cost that's over the spending authority. of the
right.
Yes, you gotta get approval to do it.
Yeah, that's the only approval that would be necessary, is the approval to select that firm and move forward.
And then.
And then the next approval would be after everything has been approved by all the other entities.
Basically adopting.
Yeah, they adopt it. Correct.
Okay, then that makes sense, and like I said, the only thing I'd make sure in the objectives is that we. Because I feel, reading it, I feel that if we can work those numbers around to more matching my old system, that the port would be in a better position to add, way more connections without adding infrastructure.
Yeah, that's the intent, that after this consolidation, there is no addition to infrastructure to get to that additional connection.
Let me ask one other thing. So would it also be the objective of the plan to merge the two plans then fine?
It would be merging the two plans.
Okay.
That submission is, because they are now consolidated, it is the comprehensive plan of
Yeah, okay,
all of the Port of Allyn's well structure.
Right. got it. Other than that, I don't, have much comment, other than those couple points on the plan.
So you anticipate this going out?
I would like to work on it, I'd like to get it set up before the end of the month for sure.
Because you're saying that you want to see if a firm can have in your
Yeah,
hands
they
by
need
January,
as much time as possible to determine whether they can meet our deadline.
right, which is January 31st.
That is a number that I put in there at this point because I wanted to see a 3-month period for DOH to be able to do their job. Hopefully, I mean, they're supposed to be able to provide comments in 60 days.
Yeah, no, most everything, anything I've sent.
And I think if you submit it with 90 days to the point of your plan literally being expired, And it puts them on a clock too, because they are supposed to review within 60 days.
Yeah, when I last worked with them, they were on a 90-day clock.
Okay, well,
And at least on plans, every time I submitted a plan,
yeah,
it was 90 days.
well, then maybe that deadline needs to be moved to December 30th.
Well, yeah, a conversation might also be needed with DOH. If you're underway, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Or it's missing by a month or two, when I say missing, I don't mean to delay it, but I'm saying the little overlap there, I don't see that would be a big problem with DOH.
no.
So, okay, so anybody else have any comments about the water system planning as well as the RFQ related to that? They're kind of married together.
Nope, I'm good.
I would. Anything else you would need from us that you think of? Okay, Travis, okay, thanks. Okay, our favorite, consolidated construction update, and I'll let you finish writing first.
Okay.
We could start with one thing,
Let's start with consolidation. Well, that's, I guess the elephant in the room is the document I created for the well replacement scope of work. Since that wasn't something that people had planned on doing at this point, but it is necessary due to the nature of the scope of work from the DOH requiring the system to be controlled by a BFD driver, which in hindsight cannot control a single horsepower
single phase,
pump.
single phase.
Single phase, yeah.
Let me take one step back and state the original objective of the consolidation was basically to consolidate, tie the two systems together, give backup to my old system through the use of the capacity of the storage tank that the port had, and to switch to use my old well as the primary well and the well here on the waterfront as the backup. Is that basically the gist of it, right? As far as
Yeah, the well down here is supposed to be not the main source of withdrawal.
right, so that was the objective, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to engineer, what was designed supposedly. And we have the opportunity at hand that it's not working right. It's not set up right. There was oversight made. As an example, somebody made an assumption that there was a 3-phase 5 horsepower pump on my system. So that got us down a path. I did raise in a meeting with the engineer, just as a one-line statement, and it's verbal, it's not in writing, but when Travis was meeting with the engineer and I was there to discuss the layout, the one concern I laid out also to him was the fact that if we're going to deliver at 72 pounds versus 60 pounds, that we need to address flow potentially. In other words, as you increase the head, the amount, gallons per minute goes down. And so where it seems like it is right now, where it's going is, it was going to have a problem no matter which way we went with it. One, either the VFD driving the unit, or two, pushing up the head pressure and getting less gallons. Because the idea was that the main pump would be the Allyn carry pump, and
it would have to pump at over 74 pounds of pressure.
Yes.
With the current concept that's in place.
And because of one oversight, it's like a house of cards. It all comes unstuck, and one thing leads to the next, like to a transformer upgrade.
Right.
so on and so forth.
So all this is very expensive.
Yeah,
It's all. So does the engineer not go out and evaluate everything and figure out grades and pressures and levels and see what the infrastructure is? Does he not have that responsibility, and then he ties it all together? So that was an oversight, I guess, on
well, yeah,
their part.
you know, in other words, in my mind, they also produced this invoice that Department of Health needed. You know, an engineer's estimate.
Correct.
It did not include anything dealing with the pump.
Right. So then you have the contractors come in to go out for bid.
Right.
You know, off of the
What's
engineer, what the engineer has and this and that. And they should do their own due diligence on some level, but they're taking the engineer. This is the print you want.
Yeah.
Okay, Port of Allyn or whatever
Right,
district.
yeah.
This is what you want. This is what I'm bidding on.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, is the port absorbing all this? Or is there some recourse because the ball got dropped?
Right. There's some, you know, my opinion. It's not the same for you other members. My opinion is the port shouldn't absorb all of it. That's for sure. One.
I agree with that.
Two, there's some oversights. And, you know, I don't want to get it, you know, the drive is always not to get things into legal matters. The thing is to work, you know, work with people and work it out, what have you. But there is something called, you know, errors and omissions in professional services in the insurance side of the equation. And in my mind, this is either omission or an error. It's an oversight, definitely.
Right, I agree with that.
So, you know, and let me say two things. It could, how do I say this? In the area that this affects, there's only 4 or 5 property owners. I'm one of them. So I want to put it up that I don't believe I have a conflict of interest, but at the same time, somebody could, you know, raise, well, you know, but I'm not the only one. I'm one of 5.
No, I don't see that
Yeah,
at all.
but
in
that's,
this
I
situation.
just always err towards transparency and then we'll go from there.
What is the cost to get this corrected? Have we figured that out?
Is this
No.
bump or that bump? Down below or above?
Up above.
Yeah.
No, the problem, there's a series of issues. You don't have an update yet from PUD on the,
No, I will be up tomorrow. That was a week from our initial plot through, so see what they got.
Are they charging us to?
No, they're-
Upgrade that?
Well, what they do is they, if an upgrade is necessary, they just charge you the difference in the cost of that transformer to the upgraded transformer, not the actual full cost. So,
you know, looking at it, forgetting all parties and all things that, you know, are involved. In my own world, I have this kind of rule in engineering and designing of things that when things start coming unstuck, errors start coming out, you stop. And, you know, either back up or take, you know, reevaluate or do something. You just don't keep plowing ahead. And what I'm concerned about is we're plowing ahead, trying to fix a problem that, you know, that somebody else created in the process. And
Which needs to be corrected sooner than later
Yes,
to get this right.
right. Now,
Okay.
technically, if all this is done except for this issue of pressure, you know, well pressure and all this kind of thing, if all that's taken care of, technically it could run and solve all the problems except switching over and using.
technically, it can solve all the problems that we were trying to do, except completing the DOH requirement of having the system ran by a VFD.
And running off that well.
Well, it should still be able to run off of that well.
Yeah, okay, but limited, okay, okay,
Yeah, it's just not as controlled and not as intended through controls.
right.
Correct. So there'll be certainly a big conversation here as soon as the engineer is back from being gone for a week on addressing this. So
Well, I think
We really we can't do anything with the controls that we have until we get some answers from the engineer at this point.
the VFDs are important for a lot of reasons, and through the SCADA, through the VFD, they can track how many hours and this and that, that's all been running and carrying on, and, I think it's important, we don't wanna, I don't think we want to not do that.
No, no, I'm not-
It's
I'm still-
valuable.
what I'm really trying to say is. My opinion is we need to stop, take a breath. Evaluate, or, really
Right.
evaluate what's all around us, and then put it to writing what we're gonna do. Have the committee then look at it again. Or the new update, and then go from there.
Well, I'll say this, I don't think the port should absorb all the cost for this, that's for sure. And, but at the end of the day, the port's gonna get a little better
Right.
deal out of it, but it shouldn't be on the port.
No, I don't,
100%.
I don't think it's on this committee, I don't think it's on the port.
Oh, no, it ain't on us.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
we looked, we looked at it, there was a design, yeah. Engineers signed off on it,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards, so.
One of the glaring things about what happened here is that when the port went out to bid, there was a sealed bid process. The bids came in, we evaluated them for completeness,
Right.
and we had to verify with each bidder from the lowest moving up towards the highest how they solved this problem because it was not included. Technically, none of the bidders were completely responsive. So we went through a process of going to the lowest bidder and saying, how did you solve this problem? And they looked at the problem and said, I did not solve that problem. And asked to be allowed to retract their bid.
Right.
And we went to the next one, said, how did you solve this problem? And said, oh, well, we'll get back to you, we're gonna look into it. They looked into it. They asked to literally be removed from the bid because they didn't solve the problem. And then we came to the next one, and then the next one came and talked to their subcontracting electrician. And they said, yes, we have a solution.
Okay,
And the solution, we now know, doesn't operate the system.
Right.
Because there was obviously a misunderstanding on the current power phases of the submersible pump.
Right.
so that bidder knew that there was an issue going in initially, that it was brought to his attention, and then he came back and said, hey, I think I got this, so I'm in, I'm still in. And, okay.
But I mean, the thing that's kind of pushing me back to engineering is. If you don't know. If you don't know what kind of motor you got, how do you know that you're gonna drive it with a VFD?
It was written in a manner that needed the contractor to solve that question.
Oh. Cause I mean, basically, the only way is to replace the pump motor. That's the only way.
Or downgrade to a 2 horsepower pump. They said they can find what we're looking for, but it only goes up to 2 horsepower. It's a very, very specific, rarely used. What thing, and never commercially.
Yeah.
They're like smaller.
Yeah, yeah.
Residential pumps.
How much extra expense is this to the port?
About $20,000, no?
I don't know, that
I'm just guessing from
Yeah.
the work I did in the past.
Yeah, no,
Cost to go all the way down to the bottom of the pull that up, put a pump in. Send it.
well, there's
Yeah.
other pitfalls. Some of the other pitfalls is that, we do this, we only want to do it once. So if there's gonna be money spent, there needs to be money spent to the full upgrade that was planned in the future.
Or at least get the
because
get the numbers.
It's gonna be the same amount of labor to pull the pump up and put a 5 horsepower pump in as it is to pull the pump up and put a 15 horsepower pump up.
right,
Right.
So the other thing is that when we went through the actual altered service with the PUD engineer, anything above a 10 horsepower pump, it is at the district's discretion whether they provide power to it
on a single phase.
on a single phase.
Yeah.
Which also then leads to, well, the only other option would be three-phase power if they didn't give us an exemption. To go to 15 horsepower. So that puts us in a position where 10 horsepower may be the highest we could go. Which starts to limit our flows. Our gallons per minute.
We don't wanna do that.
No.
And even if it's more money spent, we're committed on this, we've got to get it right.
So really, we're at a stuck point until the PUD gets back to us, which tomorrow will be 1 week from when we had the meeting. They only work 4 days a week, so I'll see if I can get some answers first thing in the morning. Because it was gonna have to go through more than just his channel, because he had to go higher up to get approval for being able to allow a supply of anything above the 10 horsepower option.
Right. Secondary to all this, I've done a little more research on the VFDs. And because it's an inverter and because what they're doing, I was curious as to how they were controlling things and found out that they do what they call square up the wave. In other words, you don't really have a cycle like this, up, down, up, on AC. They're squaring it digitally. And squaring digitally is harder on a motor. And they talk about
Well, that's why
overheat.
they're all three phase, because three phase is easier on a motor.
Yeah, but they're overheating it is a potential. You have to do all the quote unquote engineer evaluation before you throw one of these things out. You just don't plug and play and go.
Interesting.
So in other words, there's, if you get it right, you can handle the extra heat, but you gotta have the power factors correct on the motor. You gotta, it's kind of like you get one question, you ask one question, and it takes you down, a Ouija board of, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, and it's like, because basically the units that protect the motors are on the low end 1500 for that size for 15 horse. And there's what they call a sine filter, which is rounding out the wave. There's also another, and I don't quite know yet because I'm not an expert at it, but there's two types of, one's kind of a inverter RF noise, harmonic noise eliminator, and the other is more rounding out the sine wave back to more of a true.
Doesn't a lot of this go through the VFD, so it's got a soft start built in and a slow start and all that, it controls.
I looked at the schematics and I remember telling Travis that at some point we're gonna have to look at updating this with some surge protection because I don't see it. There's actually a feature that you could order with it to control, but not in this one, at least the design and what I looked at and what specs were forwarded to me. But yes, there are.
Yeah, our VFDs, we soft start the motor and it slow stop.
I know, I hear you, but there's just a bunch of factors.
Okay.
And I'm not an expert. All I'm just saying is I'm coming across this data and saying, oh crap. It's like I say, when you have one failure or an error you miss and you start going down this path, you can get uglier before it gets better. So I think, at least my thinking is at some point you need to have another engineer look at this approach what we've got.
I ain't cheap, but I agree with you. I think we do need to have another
Because
engineer set of eyes. It's gonna be what, 10 grand to do that?
no, I don't. You mean as far as the engineering?
Have an engineer reevaluate it and all this, it ain't two, I'll tell you that.
No. I don't know to answer the question. Yeah. To me, my initial training was in manufacturing and logistics, and I worked with engineers a lot in the computer side of equation, design and what have you, because of parts and pieces and sparing. And it seems like if you know your crap, it's not a hard job, but you have to go through the process of evaluating. I don't see any notes, support, like a little appendix or something, these considerations were put in, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a bunch of assumptions being made. We should have had at least an assumption. That we're assuming this, and this, and move ahead, because otherwise it just, I just, I understand what Travis is saying about the wording and the bid, but at the same time, if you're not solving the problem but putting a solution, I don't understand. I can't comprehend that. I just can't put the two together. Because to me, the engineer should be designing the final solution. It should not be the contractors solving the problem.
No, that's part of the engineering.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, contractors, yeah, I'm thinking all, like different projects, when there's a problem, they go back to engineering, always.
Right, because they're putting it in as per the engineer. So
Yeah,
if there's
and
an issue, the engineer's like.
I'm thinking, everything from, roads, bridges, water lines, whatever. It always comes back to the engineer. I mean, you can have problems with contractors doing subpar work and things like that, but that's not where we are here.
No, if stuff's getting designed or
Yeah.
reworked in the field off the print.
Yeah,
It goes back to the engineer and says, hey, we got this problem, it's gotta be.
it's a change order.
Yes, so anyhow.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys.
And this has to be done before the consolidation approval or the whole package.
Well, so once you complete construction and have all of the phases of it meeting the scope of work for the project, an engineer comes in and does a project completion report and signs off that it all meets that criteria for the submitted plans.
Right.
Right, but to tie them all together. Okay, to tie them all together with this new plan, this has to be completed first.
The, what,
The pump replacement.
the pump replacement, yeah, in order to meet those requirements,
A
correct.
new plan for DOH, consolidate everything and have one plan. That all has to be.
See, even if the pump was a three-phase, what's there, and because of the head, we'd go down from our 50, running range from 48 to 53, we'd go down to 35 to 44.
Did the contractor do all the piping and tie in and all that stuff? Is that
Yeah.
phased
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
And everything's a standstill now.
No, there's tomorrow, they're going to do the last field swaps for the houses that have a lower pressure.
Okay.
On the high side of the system
Yes.
by swapping it from the 8-inch Port of Allyn lines to the 4-inch pressure lines of the
Okay.
Allyn carry
So
system.
they're close. Very.
Yeah. That should be completed by Friday.
Okay.
Then we're literally, we're at a standstill until the PUD tells us our power demands. And part of the power demand issue is that we need to know whether the current transformer was ever going to be able to handle with the upgrades that we were doing in the first place without any horsepower increases, because the plan added 2 VFDs, which have a load to them. And they also added a 5 horsepower surface pump. And there was no evaluation whether the current transformer load could handle that. And there was no mention that it should be checked. So it's not just the fact that we're in this position and we want to replace the submersible pump. And if we're going to do that, we want to do it to the upgraded horsepower. What about the fact that maybe there wasn't enough power demand in the first place to do what was already quoted?
My research, so on these like 5 kilowatt pumps, or well, they're not 5 kilowatt, they're 5 horsepower, 3.7 kilowatt. You take all those numbers when you're working from a single phase source and you're driving a 3-phase motor, and basically the factor is 1.73. So you take 3750 times 1.73, and that's going to be your wattage, kilowatt load. And the problem is that the pump or the transformer that's there is a 25 kilowatt, and you have a house that's rated at 12. It's not using 12, but then you have a house rated at 8, and then you have the well house. And in the past, it was no problem for 2 reasons. One is we're only 4K at most, so it fit, no problem there. And even if there was a problem, the way that pump was set up is it comes on. Usually, even in peak hour, it's only running half the time in peak hour.
Hmm.
And see, it's on bladder tank. So basically it runs,
Doesn't run that long.
yeah, 3 minutes max. And then it's fine. Because our peak hour was even in the max, even with 23 connections was only 33 per hour, gallons per hour. And see, because it didn't have a reservoir, we could measure it because we could see what the PUD was every time the pump kicked on. So we could see in every 15-minute increment what was going on. And so I could calculate backwards and work it out to see, oh, we're only got 33. So, we had buffer and we had wiggle room. So it was not a problem. But now even how do I say it? Even if we just left it as it was and we could throw an inverter on it to control it, we're over it. And the PD could probably say, okay, we can get by with that because the odds are it will not be that 25 kilowatt full-time load. But then you, like Travis is saying, when you add this other pump, and I talked to Travis and it appears like the pump would have to run, that auxiliary pump has to run more often, like all the time.
Hmm.
That was not the design. The design was when a failure occurred, you switch over and you boost it and away you go. That was the design, correct? Was it? Wasn't that correct, Travis?
Yeah, so the way that it feels that have been described, the way this pressure reducing, pressure sustaining valve works is you've got a lower pressure from the gravity tank on one side, on the 6-inch side.
Right.
And then you have a much higher pressure on the other side.
Right.
Okay, well, this valve must have a way of taking that lower pressure and sustaining that higher pressure.
Right. And
So the pressure from the tank is helping regulate the higher 74-pound pressure that you need on your side of the system, which in turn shouldn't cause your pump to have to come on that often, depending on the demand that's being taken from it.
right.
Okay, let me get,
But that can't be sourced properly until the engineer comes and explains how that needs to be set.
let me ask this, I've never seen that, so we're going on a clay valve or pressure reducing valve or whatever, but you're going from low pressure to high pressure, and not the high pressure
No.
to low pressure?
No,
You're going high pressure to low.
Correct.
That's the only way I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
I misheard then, so.
I looked it up to little again reading because I've never used a combination valve. I've used reducers, but never a combination, sustaining combination. And my understanding that reducing is for the downhill side, the downside,
Right.
meaning to the water tank, basically. The sustaining part is to protect and keep up the other side at the higher pressure and can keep it sustained at that higher pressure.
Yes, so that's how they work, so we're going from high to low, you can put the adjustment in there
Right.
wherever you want.
Right.
And yeah, that's how we operate, we got several.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, my thinking is that this really needs to be looked at by an engineer, one. And kind of from a standpoint of not just being locked into one approach, just look at this thing and say, okay, what do we do to fix it? Or what's the thing we should do?
Yes, I think a separate firm, I've
Yes.
been a proponent of that,
Yes.
the prints and stuff, right on a separate firm, separate set of eyes.
I mean, this is probably in the realm of field trip from a separate firm with eyes on it.
Sure. It's
Whatever.
whatever.
Once it's in that final consolidated, the piping is finished position. And
There-
then determine whether we were led down the right path.
Then there needs to be a schematic of how this thing works. And what side the pressure's on and all that. In other words, you need to see, I had to take it to figure out what was going on. Blue arrow saying 72 or 74 PSI, over here 38 or 34, whatever it is, to figure out what was going on before I could talk to Travis.
Yeah, one of our PRVs, we would come in at 120
Yeah.
and it's leaving at 30.
Yeah,
and that's it, it
Yeah.
maintains that, so.
But, you know, and part of the issue too is that, you know, when people look at trying to boost the volume of gallons, well, all of a sudden, you know, the drop pipe, instead, you know, they start getting antsy when they start going above 75 gallons a minute on a 2-inch. Okay, not that it can't handle it.
Right.
But you get more vibrations, you get more issues. So then that means they're gonna, you know, if you, most of the threes, although you can get adapters, but most of the threes are at 3-inch discharge. Fine, then, you know, gotta pull that pipe, and basically it's 1,700 pounds of 3-inch pipe that goes down that thing.
Right. I gotta use the restroom, guys, so.
Oh, sorry,
we're gonna take a
I'm printing
break.
something off. So
Okay,
Okay, we'll hold the meeting for a minute.
thank you.
Suspend the meeting for a minute. Wait, hold it, or what do we
just recess me.
recess the meeting just for a moment while you take a break? Just fine.
Another day in paradise.
Yes.
Buy for something else, and so you guys are doing here now.
Yeah, we got some
See
public.
how you guys cook.
We're all simmering right now.
You guys are doing, do what you do.
Wow, the rock there. This is a schematic that was created by the contractor for me to provide to the engineer to verify that this is what was talked about in our pre-construction meeting. Because there was no diagram provided in the bid document by the engineer to show what piping should look like. Just a written description that it needed to be there.
Okay, so I'll reconvene the meeting. If I didn't say that already.
I will pass the minutes around for signature.
Oh, yes.
Signature page for the minutes.
He's got 4-inch ball valves on here too, you see that? Didn't we talk about that?
That was
That
a
was on
different
the
project.
update.
That was a different project.
Okay.
That was phase 2 of Kids Have Housing. Gotta keep our project straight. So the best I can come up with a recommendation that, one, we need an engineer to look at what's there. 2, what's the most, you know, economical, reliable way to get this working correctly? You know, and then come back at us. What do members think?
Well, that's my opinion too.
Yeah, I need a recommendation.
Huh?
We need someone give a recommendation.
Well, yeah, I mean, that, the only recommendation I can give right now is this needs to go through an engineer.
Right, and they need to give a recommendation.
Yeah.
What's the best?
So
Way to
do
proceed.
you need a motion? Okay,
You're just providing recommendations.
yeah, yeah.
I'm writing the recommendations down. There's no motions for any decisions, so
Right.
we can, once we get something together that, maybe recommend for the board commission to approve, then we can have a motion for that. I think that concludes the consolidation construction update.
Okay. Okay,
General as-built discussion, I will always leave in the old business.
the one thing, I don't know if it was said last time, but, I briefly looked at the updated ones. The corrected ones where, you know, everything was off by, or a number of things were off by 10 feet, and so we had a meeting, they went to work on it, sent an updated one. Yes, they corrected a lot of the issues. But then they started making assumptions. And what I mean by that is, if you have a catch basin here and a catch basin there, fine, you can label it. But you can, if nobody's provided you any data, you cannot.
We should be connecting the dots.
Yeah.
You know.
And I found several, maybe half a dozen points on different stormwater things going around the water system. Where there are lines going places, there's nothing. I mean, it's wrong. And it's like, okay, so then when somebody starts making assumptions. Then everything is, fair game, but in my mind, as soon as you start making assumptions, and I don't have a problem personally with assumptions, I've worked around that a lot, but then there's a way you flag it and way you identify it so that people can focus and go at it. There was assumptions made on the water connections between, the houses addresses from 200 Blackwell through 260 Blackwell. There's assumptions. They assumed because there's a meter box here, there was a straight tie.
Right.
I mean, if you don't have a drawing, you don't, and then like they didn't put the valve in, on the as-built I sent in with those 100 and some odd corrections. This is mine that was supposed to go to the port, so they would have current as-built of my old system. They didn't put the valve in that's on your 8-inch. They're, the one that's there between 130 and 140.
Yeah, no, it's there. You can't see it until you 200%.
Okay, I missed it.
Yeah, literally, I found it.
That's there.
It's because those two lines are so close together.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to see. But one place that there was a serious miscue was right where the line comes down from the tank and makes a 90 on.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Blackwell
that.
Street.
Yeah,
They assume there was a T with a valve there,
right.
and it's just a 90 with a valve on the other side of the 90.
Well, yeah, no, there's a valve and then it makes the 90 going up the hill.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
Yeah, and they drew it as a T with the valve connected to the T for like future expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, where did that information, where did you get that information?
So anyway, this is round 2.
It sounds like round 3.
Huh?
We got a round 3, it sounds like.
Well, we're getting to a point.
No, there's been 9 mock-ups of this.
Oh, there's 9 months. Okay, I've lost the track. No, it's just round 2. Okay, well, do you want a recommendation? I got some opinion on this one. We're gonna,
It's gonna have to be reviewed by another firm.
I guess the thing I would say is this, there's no way I can trust what they're putting together.
I'm going to request a list of the assumptions made. Because if they can't provide a list of the assumptions made, then we have a big problem.
Yeah.
Because we
Okay.
have a bunch of possible mistakes that we can't verify. So what are we supposed to go through and
I can,
make assumptions on which ones they assume?
I personally have, 90% of the knowledge of what's there and can work it all the way through, but shoot, I don't want to do that. I mean, that's a grunt
Well,
job.
that's not why we
Correct.
put them
When we
in
hired
hired.
I mean, I already did it once with all my stuff, 120, it was 123 over a 6-year period, at 123 additions to recheck elevations, recheck locations, that kind of thing. And, they're missing them. So, yeah. And, this is 3 firms I've seen that problem. Obviously, I hate to say it, but West Sound missed it on that. Olson and Allyn Olson or whatever.
Right.
They missed it, when they're doing the phase 1, kids up housing. And obviously, we've had problems with the, drawings from Northwest Water.
Right.
So anyway, that's
Like
all.
they all got problems.
So the weird thing is, I'm not an engineer, but I could do it. Personally, I could draft it, but it's a waste of my time. Yeah. That wasn't the way it was supposed to go. Basically, I agreed with the port to put in double the money to get the thing tied together, mine integrated into the ports and be done.
Right, I agree. I agree. It's not on you, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's not. I do have something else on just normal discussion.
Well, we'll bring it on these 3 subjects or new.
No, just new, just random. So.
Okay, we'll go under new business. How's that?
Okay.
So before we go to that, so we've kind of said, okay, with the water system plan, RFQ. Anybody have any issues with the just the general, I guess, what do you call it, the general services? Engineering
Yeah,
services?
the on-call engineering services.
Yeah,
I mean, that's contract based.
Right.
Yeah,
If it's something outside, I mean, it's just there in case. That would fall into the lines of having the as-built like that or
Yeah.
consolidation,
okay,
review.
but everybody's seeing what Travis put out, and I mean, I don't.
And then what we do is we get back several different firms saying, yes, we're interested in providing services to you. Here's what we charge. Here's our background. Here's our
Right.
qualifications. And then we would still choose one that fit the.
The port's criteria.
Yeah, as long as they were responding to the.
Yeah, I mean, the port's criteria can speak.
It's not the same with hiring a contractor.
Right. But I personally think the port should have that, somebody on call just to be able to address things that come up.
Well, and technically, currently West Sound Engineers is on call.
Yeah, right.
I agree.
Was there anything else on the RFQs that we need to talk about? Travis?
No, just be sure that we are hiring a firm that understands the difference between CAD work and engineering work.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
I just had a couple
Yeah,
small
sure.
things. So the last development that went in on the hill or the last phase. Did an air vac get installed on all that? I think we talked about that. Did one get in there? That's perfect spot for it up there on the hill.
It hasn't actually gone to construction yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
the one that butts up right to Lakeland where it's at.
yeah, so that's I haven't heard anything from
That's JDK.
JDK.
Yeah,
Okay, and there's no water main up there as of.
No, there's just the stub from the kids out housing
Okay,
and they have not begun construction.
okay,
They have everything they need from us for permitting purposes, so.
right. And you did,
That reminds me, I usually give them a call every month, and I didn't call them last month, so. I'll give them a ring.
and you did get the sample station donated. Does it
Yeah.
look like it's
Oh, yeah,
gonna
it's
be a
beautiful.
thing? It's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
okay?
we're gonna fit that into the schedule here, we're
Okay.
gonna slow down a little bit. Replace one of the ones we know doesn't operate.
Good, and when you do install like the new one or the replacement one, I highly suggest you put a little water meter there, box.
Yeah,
So you can track the water.
We can track usage. It'll be far different than the setup that's there now. So we're hoping that we can just go off the current supply and find a corporate stop there so that we can just shut it down and connect a meter box
Sure.
to that and then literally connect the sampling station right after the meter box.
Yeah, and you can use the meter box as maybe a splash block, you know, it'll act as your splash block that you're spraying on to flush out the sample station, all that, it'll be pretty close.
Okay.
Okay, no, that's beautiful. That's all I did, yeah.
Okay, general water systems discussion. We're very specific today. But no, I think we need to get these addressed and get this, you know, off the dime, but at the same time, not break the bank
Right.
and get this figured out, because I'll pass this in my notes. In fact, I'll email them to you that I put to your sheet.
Another thing that's been tied to time this month is.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this to you too, Travis, is that when you put this out, you know, especially for the water system plan, just make sure you plan it around, you know, your work, your schedule. If you're trying to push to get this, which you are, just know that these vendors, you know, should be talking to you, because there should be some questions. So. Okay. Anything else anybody have?
Nothing.
Okay, next meeting date, regular scheduled meeting is July 1st at 5 p.m. on 2026. Next thing, public comment. We don't see anybody in the audience. Anybody on Zoom?
I think so. No.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I agree with all that.
Moved in second, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Travis, you want me to just email you my notes on the well?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
The WE reports too.
Yeah, whoa, water use. Even people like it, been down the past, just, you know, put things up around there. And oh,
Marina issues with, trying to keep up on billings and everything else for small offices.
well, it's right. I really feel for you, honestly, with, you know, you got kids. I feel this time.
Nope, do got a few days a month that are. Of meetings of one late. Oh, yeah, we did get a stretch of highway cleaned up last minute.
Good.
But the Allyn Community Association is supposed to be cleaning the highway. I set the program up for them so that they would show up and clean the highway
Yeah,
at least once a month, and they got all excited and they started with that triangle,
yes.
traffic triangle. They wanted to beautify it and run water there.
Oh,
and-
no, not
and
again.
get filtered fabric down, get few bark down, put some nice plants in. And I'm like, listen, I can't give you authorization to use somebody else's water.
Yeah,
There's water there, but I don't know whose it is.
it's Nelson's.
I know it's Nelson's, and I told him that, and he's like, I don't think it's mine.
It's just, you know,
Like, Greg, it's yours.
15 years, almost 20 years ago, we had this same discussion. Same thing on that triangle.
Water in the triangle?
Yeah,
In his house?
There's a 2-inch galvanized line sticking out of the ground with a 1/2 inch 8 valve.
It's coming, it kind of comes
I
from,
wouldn't claim it neither, I'll be honest.
I know. I saw that thing and I was like, this is a liability waiting to happen.
because the county,
I am not telling you you can use it.
the county made some deal with Nelson's
Oh, it's a bad deal too.
to use their water for the lift station there, okay?
Yeah,
So the lift station's right across from the triangle, and somehow they got it ran over. Nelson's back in the day did something different over there.
so according to Greg, that they never signed the deal. They never agreed to use it. Greg Nelson.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we didn't hear that.
sorry, right. Yeah.